The royal coat of arms of Scotland was the official coat of arms of the King of Scots from its adoption in the 12th century until the end of the Kingdom of Scotland in 1707. Poetically described as the ruddy lion ramping in his field of treasured gold, the arms are still widely used today as a symbol of Scotland, and are quartered in the royal arms of Queen Elizabeth II along with the arms of England and Ireland. Features: the arms feature a red rampant lion with blue tongue and claws situated within a red double border decorated with fleurs de lis. The fleurs de lis in the royal treasure are traditionally said to represent the old alliance with France, but this is unlikely, as this alliance did not come to exist until the late 13th century, when the royal treasure had been firmly established as part of the arms for many years. It was perhaps added merely to make the arms more distinctive, as the symbol of a rampant lion was already used by several lords and kings. Atop the shield sits the Helmand Crest. The helm is full-faced of damasked gold with 6 bars and features gold mantling lined with ermine. Upon the helm sits the crest, depicting the red lion, forward-facing and sitting atop the crown of Scotland, displaying the honours of Scotland. Above the crest is the motto, "In Defence," a contraction of "In my defence God me defend." Surrounding the shield is the collar of the most ancient and most noble order of the Thistle. The supporters are 2 crowned and chained unicorns, the dexter supporting a banner of the arms, the sinister supporting the national flag of Scotland. The compartment features a number of thistles, the national flower of Scotland. History: Kingdom of Scotland. A form of these arms was first used by King William the Lion in the 12th century, though no trace of them can be made out on his seal. However, a lion rampant can clearly be made out on the seal of his son, Alexander II. Over the years many writers have claimed them to be much older. Even Alexander Nisbet, considered to be one of the more reliable Scottish heralds, claims that a lion was first adopted as a personal symbol by the legendary Fergus, with the royal treasure being added in the reign of Achaius. This is clearly untrue, as even if Fergus and Achaius had existed, they predate the existence of heraldry by several centuries. Throughout the ages the arms passed from monarch to succeeding monarch with only slight variations in detail. In some early examples the lion holds a sword or wears a crown, and the royal treasure has sometimes been interpreted as an orly bordure. Many of these relatively minor variations will have resulted from the individual efforts of stonemasons, weavers, artists and sculptors throughout the ages in their attempts to create a facsimile of the arms of the period, as well as mistakes and misinterpretations on the part of foreign heraldic artists. In the reign of James III, the Scottish Parliament made a curious attempt to get rid of the royal treasure, passing an act stating that the king, with the advice of the 3 estates, ordained that in time to come there should be no double treasure about his arms, but that he should bear whole arms of the lion without any more. This state of affairs does not appear to have lasted very long, with James III soon reinstating the royal treasure, first without its top, and then in its original form. Upon the creation of the Public Register of all Arms and Bearings in Scotland in 1672, Charles II registered the blazon of the achievement of the King of Scots as, or a lion rampant gules armed and langed azure within a double tressured flowered and counterflowered with flowers de lis of the second, encircled with the Order of Scotland, the same being composed of rue and thistles, having the image of Saint Andrew with his cross on his breast wire and 2 pendant Above the shield an helmet answerable to His Majesty's high quality and jurisdiction, with a mantle a doubled ermine adorned with an imperial crown beautified with crosses, patty and flowers de lis surmounted on the top, for His Majesty's crest of a lion siegent full-faced gules crowned, or holding in his dexter paw a naked sword proper, and in the sinister a sceptre both erected paleways supported by two unicorns argent crowned with imperial and gorged with open crowns. To the last chains are fixed, passing betwixt the forelegs and reflexed over the backs, or here on the dexter, embracing and bearing up a banner of cloth of gold charged with the royal arms of Scotland, and here on the sinister another banner azure charged with the St. Andrew's cross argent, both standing on an compartment placed underneath, from which issue thistles one towards each side of the escutcheon, and for His Majesty's royal mottos in an scroll over all in defence, and under on the table of the compartment Nemo me impune lacessit, Kingdom of France. When Mary, Queen of Scots, married Francis, Dauphin of France, in 1558, Mary's royal arms of Scotland were impaled with those of the Dauphin, whose arms were themselves quartered with those of Scotland to indicate his status as King Consort of Scotland. When Francis ascended to the throne of the Kingdom of France in 1559 as King Francis II, the arms were again altered to indicate his status as King of France, with those of Mary also being altered to reflect her elevated status as Queen Consort of France. Following the death of Francis in 1560, Mary continued to use the arms showing Scotland and France impaled until her marriage to Henry, Lord Darnley, in 1565. Following the marriage to Darnley, the arms of Scotland reverted to the blazon which had preceded the marriage to Francis. Union of the crowns. On the death of Queen Elizabeth I of England in 1603, James VI inherited the thrones of England and Ireland. The arms of England were quartered with those of Scotland, and a quarter for Ireland was also added. At this time the King of England also laid claim to the French throne. Therefore the arms of the Kingdom of England were themselves already quartered with those of the Kingdom of France. James used a different version of his royal arms in Scotland, and this distinction in royal protocol continued post the Acts of Union of 1707. During the reign of King Charles II, the royal arms used in Scotland were augmented with the inclusion of the Latin motto of the Order of the Thistle, the highest chivalric order of the Kingdom of Scotland. The motto of the Order of the Thistle, Nemo me impune lacessit, appears on a blue scroll overlying the compartment. The addition by King Charles of Nemo me impune lacessit ensured that the blazon of his royal arms used in Scotland complemented that of his royal arms used elsewhere. In the two mottos were displayed, the blazon used elsewhere had included the French motto of the arms, Dieu et mon droit, together with the Old French motto of the Order of the Garter, the highest chivalric order of the Kingdom of England. The motto of the Order of the Garter, Honi soit qui mal y pense, appears on a representation of the garter surrounding the shield. Henceforth, the versions of the royal arms used in Scotland and elsewhere were to include both the motto of the arms of the respective kingdom and the motto of the associated order of chivalry. From the accession of the Stewart dynasty to the throne of the Kingdom of Ireland in 1603, the royal coat of arms have featured the harp, or clairseach, of Ireland in the third quadrant, the style of the harp itself having been altered several times since. The position of King of Ireland ceased with the passage by the Electors of the Republic of Ireland Act 1948, when the office of President of Ireland replaced that of the King of Ireland for external as well as internal affairs. The Act declared that the Irish state could be described as a republic, following which the newly created Republic of Ireland left the British Commonwealth. However, The modern versions of the royal coat of arms of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, used both in Scotland and elsewhere, and also the coat of arms of Canada, continue to feature an Irish harp to represent Northern Ireland. Changes to the blazon of the arms following the marriage of Mary, Queen of Scots, in 1558. The blazon of the Royal Arms of Scotland included elements from the arms of the Dauphin of France, the Kingdom of France. Following the union of the crowns in 1603, the blazon of the Royal Arms of Scotland included elements from the arms of the Kingdom of France, the Kingdom of England, the Kingdom of Ireland. Following the reign of Charles II, King of Scots, the blazon of the Royal Arms of Scotland included upon a blue scroll overlying the compartment the motto of the most ancient and most noble order of the Thistle, Nemo me impune lacessit, and elements from the arms of the House of Orange-Nassau. Following the Acts of Union of 1707, the blazon of the Royal Arms of Great Britain used in Scotland included elements from the arms of the Kingdom of France, the Kingdom of Ireland, the Electorate of Hanover. Following the Act of Union of 1800, the blazon of the Royal Arms of the United Kingdom used in Scotland included elements from the arms of the Electorate of Hanover, the Kingdom of Hanover. Following the accession of Queen Victoria in 1837, the modern Royal Arms of the United Kingdom were adopted. Current uses. Since the formation of the Kingdom of Great Britain, the Scottish arms are now generally used in combination with the arms of England and Ireland. However, the original royal banner of Scotland, also known as the Lion Rampant, continues to be used officially in Scotland, being flown from royal residences when the Queen is not in residence and used in an official capacity by the First Minister, Lord High Commissioner to the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland, Lord Leon King of Arms, and Lord Lieutenants in the lieutenancies. Unofficially, the royal banner is often used as a secondary national flag, being most often seen at sporting events involving Scottish national teams. The royal arms in their current form were adopted on the accession of Queen Victoria in 1837. They show the Scottish arms in the first and fourth quarters of the shield, with the English arms in the second quarter and the Irish in the third. The Scots motto in defence appears as in the original arms, and the Latin motto of the Order of the Thistle, Nemo me impune lacessit, also appears on a blue scroll overlying the compartment. The Scottish unicorn and English lion hold lances flying the banners of St Andrew and St George, in imitation of the two unicorns in the original arms. The unicorn is placed in the dominant position on the dexter side, and the shield is encircled by the collar of the Order of the Thistle instead of the garter. The arms of the Duke of Rothes accord to the arms of the Great Steward of Scotland, with the arms of the Lord of the Isles. In the centre, on an escutcheon, are the arms of the heir apparent to the King of Scots, namely the Royal Arms of Scotland with a three-pointed label. The Royal Arms of Canada correspond to the British Royal Arms in that they also feature the Scottish arms in the second quarter of the shield and use the unicorn as the sinister supporter. The Canadian version also mirrors the Scottish version in that each supporter not only supports the shield but also a lance displaying a flag. Both the flag and arms of Nova Scotia feature elements of the Scottish arms. However, unlike the Royal Arms of Canada, those of Nova Scotia portray the unicorn as the royally crowned dexter supporter in the Scottish style. The shield depicts an inverse representation of the flag of Scotland and features the Royal Arms of Scotland on an escutcheon. The motto Munit Haeca Altera Vincit appears above the crest in keeping with the Scottish heraldic style. The royal treasure appears on the arms of of numerous Scottish families and institutions as a mark of royal favour, known in heraldry as an augmentation of honour. Prominent examples occur in the arms of the cities of Perth and Aberdeen. In 2002, the Queen granted arms to the Monarchist League of Canada, which featured a royal tressure with maple leaves instead of the usual fleurs de lis. A royal tressure with roses and thistles can be found in the arms of the Marquess of Aberdeen and Temmer.